The San Diego Padres have hired Craig Stammen as their new manager.
All right, here with his thoughts on the team's new skipper. Padres radio host Sam Levitt. You like how I say it? Skipper?
I like that. That's how baseball people say it. The new skipper.
Really?
The new guy at the top of the dugout.
Clearly, you know I'm not like the baseball person.
No, you've proved yourself to me over the years.
Oh, really?
Yes. You know what you're talking about. Heather, you as well. Experts.
Talk
Who
to me
needs
about
Raul?
soccer.
Who needs Raul to talk baseball?
No, we have you. We don't need Raul. This announcement yesterday, what did it come down like around 9 o'clock in the morning in the newsroom, which is like big announcement. Were you surprised? What did you think?
I was stunned. And I wasn't stunned because it was necessarily Craig Stammen, and I'll get to that in a second, but what was really stunning about it was that the name came out of nowhere. He is somebody that pitched for the Padres for a long time. He is somebody that's been a part of the organization in a front office role, but his name was not linked to this job. There was no reporting on Craig Stammen being a part of this process. We had heard names like Albert Pujols, the future Hall of Famer, Padres pitching coach Ruben Niebla, Nick Hundley, some other names in the mix as well, but his name was one that we did not hear, and it got reported yesterday morning. We find out shortly after that it's real, and I think from that sense it was a stunner, but Craig is somebody that is super well respected in the organization, will command immediate respect inside that clubhouse, and I think if you ask a lot of people, is certainly somebody that people saw managing one day, but his name came out of nowhere yesterday to be the guy. But as you think about it, as you digest it, it's not that surprising at all. I think this guy has everything it takes to be a really, really good big league manager.
Yeah, I was going to say, it wasn't like there was any negative press around it. It was all like they came out, everyone was surprised, but it was a little bit of more of a positive feel, which is great. So tell us about him for people who don't know. I mean, he's been with the Padres, he's lived in San Diego, and he's done a lot of good work.
Well, Craig Stammen's longtime major league reliever, pitched for the Washington Nationals for a long time, pitched for the Padres for a number of years as well, retired as a San Diego Padre. The Padres liked him so much, they thought so highly of him, that when he retired, they put him in a front office role, and he spent the last couple of years being in a front office role, dealing with players, spending time in the minor leagues, being a special assistant to the front office, to A.J. Preller, and it's somebody that will command immediate respect in that room. Remember, guys like Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Jake Cronenworth, Joe Musgrove, they were teammates with Craig Stammen going back to 2022 and before that. So he is somebody that will command respect that I think guys like a lot. He's a good guy, really good person, has a good reputation.
Yeah.
The idea of Craig Stammen being a manager is not the surprising part. I think everybody in his playing days would have said, Craig seems like somebody who could do this one day. He has that persona, he has that aura, but it just wasn't reported on. Had his name been reported on earlier in the process, I don't think it would have surprised anybody. It's the way it kind of happened, which was surprising, but I think Craig has all the intangibles, all the personality traits to be an excellent Padres manager. I do.
He hasn't coached this level before, right?
No, he's been a special assistant inside the Padres organization, so he's had a coaching role, an advisory role, but he has not been on a minor league staff per se or a minor league manager,
so
no.
Educate me, again, the baseball person.
Yes.
Do you have to have that kind of thing on your belt to say, then I can do this job, or no? You don't?
No.
So it's not going to be an
There's
issue?
no prerequisite.
Okay.
No. Every team hires differently. Throughout this offseason across Major League Baseball, there have been all different types of hires. Guys who have Major League managing experience, guys who don't, guys who have been on other staffs. The Giants hired a guy in Tony Vitello who comes from the college ranks and is a really successful college coach, but has never spent a day working in professional baseball.
Wow.
So everybody does it a little bit differently. It is not a prerequisite. Does it come with certain question marks? Of course, but the interesting thing to note about the Padres search in particular, all the names that were mentioned, whether it was Albert Pujols or their current pitching coach Ruben Niebla, who is going to stay with the organization. Which is great news, because Ruben's amazing. Or if it was Nick Hundley, all these guys, including Craig Stammen, they were going to be first-time managers. And naturally, fair or not, that comes with question marks just because you've never done it. Does it mean you can't be a great big league manager and lead the Padres to a first World Series title? Absolutely not. Craig Stammen might be that guy. I hope he is that guy, and I do think he has the respect I do think he has the personality traits to ultimately be that guy. To me, it's a really nice hire. It's a continuity hire. There are a lot of really good things about it. What was surprising was the way people learned about it.
It's a fresh set of eyes, which I think is going to be so good for this team, since we have so many players that have gotten so close, right, but not quite gotten to where we need to be in that playoff situation and be ready to go all the way. I want to be a fly on the wall for these interviews, because over 9 hours for an interview. And this was for Ruben Niebla, for this pitching, he's a pitching coach, for Albert Pujols. And I'm just thinking, you interviewed that long. Like, what must have happened for you to not get the job?
I wasn't in the room. Now, Albert Pujols was an interesting situation in the sense of, not only did it get reported on, like you alluded to, that it was a 9.5-hour interview, Albert, I think, got a lot of fans excited because he's Albert Pujols. I mean, this is a tippy top type player, creme de la creme type of player. When you talk about Major League Baseball, when you talk about Hall of Famers, somebody who's hit 700 home runs, he would have been a fascinating hire and a fascinating guy to step into that role. It would have been fascinating, I think, in so many different ways. However, I think it's important to note, I don't know, you don't know, Padres fans don't know how he actually would have done as manager. It could have been a smashing success. It may not have been as well. So, and you take on that risk with any manager you hire. You could have brought in a guy who's won a World Series, and it may work out, it may not. Ultimately, it depends, as you alluded to, what guys do on the field, how the team performs, and we assess from there. But Albert Pujols became a big name in this conversation because he's Albert Pujols, but he would have been, just to remind people, a first-time manager that also did not have a coaching role at any level, much like Craig Stammen.
Well, this is going to be exciting to watch this all unfold over the coming months. Sam, always good to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all your insight.